Application 450 Kendall Hospitality Incorporated, doing business as Launch. Austin M. O'Connor, manager, has applied for a new all-alcoholic beverages restaurant license at 450 Kendall Street with proposed hours of 7 a.m. to 1 a.m. 7 days per week, and a seating capacity of 130 inside and 110 seasonal patio seats on private property. Applicant is also applying for an entertainment license to include live music with amplification, maximum 3 performers, radio, audio tape machine, CD, computerized digital media that can be played below, at, or above conversation level, and 4 TVs.
Okay. Good evening. Dennis Quilty, attorney McDermott, Quilty & Miller, 131 Oliver Street, Boston, representing the applicant. With me tonight to my far right, Austin O'Connor, who is the proposed owner and manager of record. To my immediate right, Tom Shea, who's Mr. O'Connor's director of operations. They own a number of restaurants in and around Boston.
We just need spellings for
I'm
this.
sorry. So it's Dennis Quilty for me, Quilty. Austin O'Connor, Austin, Oconnor. Tom Shea, Shea.
Please.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Matt?
Yes.
Thank you. We are applying for this license at the 450 Kendall building. We do have some photos, maps, and the like, which we can orient everybody, but it's the building in the Kendall square area that faces the Great Lawn, if you will, right at the canal. So the canal, then there's the lawn area, then 450 Kendall. And this space is facing that area. Maybe we can orient the photo here. So we are facing the canal through on the other side of the lawn.
Yeah, it is right in the background here. So this is looking at the building 450, and that's the lawn in front of it.
Okay.
And then
Could
they,
you just
they,
show the
Oh, yeah,
people
sure.
here too?
and they have the rentals for the kayaks are right there.
Okay.
So the space is presently vacant, and the application would be to tenant, and by the way, executive director, I spoke to Mr. O'Neill today. We just finally got the signed version of the lease today, and I was asked to just bring it tonight, so
That's
if
great.
bring that over.
Thank you.
So the proposal is to open a restaurant at this facility. The O'Connor family, as you'll hear in a minute, I'm going to introduce Mr. O'Connor to explain it, owns a number of restaurants in Boston. This would be their first one in Cambridge, if approved. They run places in the Weston waterfront, the Lenox Hotel in the Back Bay, Park Plaza Hotel, the Innovation District in the New Seaport area, and they also have a number of places that have been in the family for many, many years in Alston, Brighton, and down in the North Station area. So they've been very, very accomplished operators for some of these places, as many as 25, 26 years. And Mr. O'Connor and his father have been in these businesses for those many years. His father is now stepping back. Mr. O'Connor Jr. will be the principal here and would be the proposed manager of record. As I said earlier, Mr. Shea is operations for all of these restaurants in this area this today. In preparation for coming to you tonight, we dealt with the staff. Were very helpful. Thank you for that. On the application process, we then made outreach to neighborhood organizations. We were directed to 2 organizations. One was the East Cambridge Neighborhood Association, and the other was the East Cambridge Planning Team. The Neighborhood Association suggested to us in an email, which I do have a copy of, that as long as you're meeting with the planning team, we did not have to meet with them, which we did then on October 6th. We had a very positive meeting with the East Cambridge Planning Team. We were out of the room before they took their vote, but it was a very positive meeting. I'm hoping and assuming they didn't have any objections. They certainly didn't voice any that night. In addition, we reached out to City Councilor Toomey, who actually happened to be there that evening, so we did have an opportunity to speak to him. I don't know whether he has weighed in, but he told us that night that he was supportive of our application as well. In addition, the landlord will be here tonight. We do have a letter from the landlord just indicating that they they see this as a way to take care of their population in the building, but also to invigorate, if you will, the lawn area, which presently the city is undergoing some great renovations and architectural features and things of that nature to better populate it, if you will, make it more of a public meeting place, and they just wanted to indicate that they were supportive that happened as well. It's our belief that in their build-out or their development process for the site, that this location was earmarked for a restaurant in that process of the zoning, in the other city processes, of course, subject to your approval. So I just want to provide that letter as well, since they weren't able to be here. And if I could briefly just introduce Mr. O'Connor to tell you a little bit about the family business.
Please.
And Mr. Shea, and just a little bit about the operations.
Sure. Yeah, Austin O'Connor, as Dennis said, I've been doing this since '89, so over 25 years. It is indeed a family business. My father, immigrated from Ireland, and he started doing construction days and painting, and ended up buying some real estate. And I was out in California. He called me back and asked me if I wanted to help him open up a restaurant. What do I know about restaurants? And 25 years later, I'm still here. We have been successful in doing that, opening up multiple locations within Boston. My father has slowed down since. I would say it was back in around 2002, we ended up doubling the size of our company, and we actually drifted away a little bit from some of the concepts we originally started with, some of our pub concepts, and we started getting into operations within hotels, the Lennox Hotel, the Westin Hotel, and that's been very successful for us. Most recently, we opened up in the Innovation District, in District Hall, and we have a relationship with the Cambridge Innovation Center. Actually, we're our landlord at Gather Group. So we look for opportunities out there that are a little unique, that aren't cookie cutter, if you will, that require something a little bit more from an operator than your larger chain or your stores that are a chain, as an example. So we've found it very successful to be able to do that and really cater to the community and what the community needs. We don't have you'll see in a handout that there's a name on the restaurant, but we haven't even finalized that. We'll be doing that with the landlord and the local process of trying to figure out exactly what fits in the community. But it's been, I take it very seriously. It's my family name, and we try hard to do the right thing. We have great relationships with local authorities in Boston. Probably have a very good reputation with the city as a whole. And, we really try hard to not only interact with the city in a positive way, but local charities like to be focused on, community. So that's something now that we'll be able to offer with the community as well, to give back. It is important to me, who I am, what I like to do. Tom's been with us for, of those 26 years, probably 25 of them. I'll give Tom a brief tee up here. He came to work for us in his background as operations and restaurants. And I don't know, we look back and he's still here. It's 25 years later, he's my right-hand man. And we have a lot of good people working for us, and we may have a chance to meet Todd as well, who's with us, who probably is going to be the active general manager of the location. So that's just a little bit about me, a little bit about my family. I think if anything, you just need to know that we are involved, we care, and we just try to do the right thing by a community, and obviously within the restaurant. And I think if you ask around, maybe some of your peers in the city of Boston, you'll probably hear that from them. Tom?
Just going to show the space a little bit on a larger scale. You have in your packet also the smaller scale. As Austin said, we were brought to this site by Cambridge Innovation Center, who called us after we successfully opened Gather at what is now District Hall. And their idea was to activate this with some nonprofit and educational type events in the space, and also have a restaurant that helps support it. So as we worked with them over in Boston, they had a large hall, but they didn't know how to fund it, and they really needed a partner that could go in and pay the rent, so to speak. So we successfully merged, and if you're over there, it looks like one operation totally. So they came over, and this space ended up being too small for them. And Brian Gacy said to me, and Tim Rowe both said, look, why don't you keep going with it? You know how to do what we do. You can activate the space. So our intention is to activate the space during the time periods of 7 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. When it's not being used for items that are outreach to the community, to the educational community, and as Bill Kane said, the biomed community, they would love to be able to have this be a center where the biomed community comes and uses the space, integrates it into their daily routine, and it is what they call their crown jewel building that they built, and they really are very serious about that. So we've agreed through our lease to do that. In the meantime, we are very serious restaurant operators, so we will be running this as a traditional restaurant during those other times that is not being used for those. But part of our lease does require us to activate the space for events on a regular basis, and keep a marketing person who will help to activate that space for it as well. So there is a concept menu. I wouldn't pay a great deal of attention to it. Our chefs haven't completely blessed it, but they've all had input to it. But there's a concept menu attached to your packet as well. And we do believe that there's a need. We've looked around in the neighborhood. We do understand what our neighbors are doing, but we've also seen that there are literally hundreds of new residences being built in and around the space, and we do believe in a year or two, as much as it might seem a little overserved right now, we believe it's underserved in that area. And we believe we serve a community need by bringing a different style of operation.
Mr. Chairman, may I just add, I wanted just when Tom raised that 7 a.m., that would be only for the service of non-alcoholic coffee and things in the morning. So that hour in the morning would only be for the building and people in the area, but it would be coffee and, light items like that, from the 7 till, 8.
So when would you propose serving alcohol? What hours?
11:30
11:30 till?
till 1. If it deemed to be necessary, if we closed early, we would be closing at 11, 12, whatever it deemed to be.
I think
Sorry. I'm just a little bit confused about the event portion, your arrangement with, so
Right.
just explain that to me a little bit more.
So, Bill said, Bill Kane had said to me, look, we just don't want it to be a dead, dull space that's not being used. We're upstairs, we've got people that want empty space in and around Kendall Square. We would love it if you open the door and activate it. So some of the things that we had talked about is that we may have a yoga class in there on a given day, but more likely we would have something that was directed to us by Biomed that might have the people who are looking to open companies matched up with the venture capitalists who are upstairs. And we might have an 8 o'clock till noon business meeting that would match the two of them together. In the afternoon, there might be a 2-hour session on some version of something that someone wanted to present, not unlike what CIC does at their venture cafe. On Thursday nights, they match a lot of people together that traditionally wouldn't be matched together. Our job is to try and create those kinds of events that match people together. It allows them to interact in a non-traditional business setting.
So theoretically, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. would be exclusively for the tenants of the building? Or would
No.
we also be open to the public?
We would be open to the public for lunch each day at 11:30 for any time that we do not have an activity in there. We may have an activity in there 1 day a week, we may have it in there 5 days a week.
But I think it's also important to note that the area we're talking about is a smaller portion of the overall space as well. So it's here we have seating in here, we have outdoor seating as well. This is the focus for the events. So even if there were an event going on, there would still be activity.
So you'll
here
still be
on the side.
serving in that
Absolutely.
front area?
Absolutely, yeah.
If you have an how the Cambridge Innovation Center works, but the familiarity we have with the Gather, which is the brand new Boston Innovation District, Seaport Boulevard, you're familiar with where the old chapel was on Northern Avenue? It's immediately next door to that brand new building, looks out at the ocean, and has meeting rooms, hearing rooms, and there's a bar and restaurant in it as well, so they serve in part of it, and then they can cater an event that might be in the back for a meeting of a law firm or a biotech company or a neighborhood group, some such thing. That could be going on in one space while the rest of it is being utilized for lunch or cocktails or dinner. So it's kind of just a multiple use kind of a facility that, the landlord said we want that so that we can have a daytime event. We could have an event for our tenants in the building, and then, you do your restaurant business as well. They might cater that event that's in the other room, for example, and likely would, if they're licensed.
You mentioned-
I would envision that not to be active, 7 days a week. I mean, we'll see how many events we actually have over the
But
course
you'll
of the
operate your restaurant business 7 days a week?
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's our main focus, but this is just, as Tom said, it's something the landlord wanted, not only for the building, but the community as well.
So it's akin to a function room, basically.
That's fair, that is fair.
So with respect to the weekends, is it your intent not to serve alcohol until 11:30, or are you going to be doing brunch service on the weekends?
We may serve brunch on the weekend.
You have to decide what you're going to do.
Yeah, you're right about
Well,
that.
we asked for, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what we asked for.
Well, and then the standard ask would be 8 a.m. to 1 a.m.
Right.
but we would probably ask for, I know we have to ask permission for earlier hours on a Sunday, and we'll probably do so,
Right.
I presume.
We have not finished our business plan enough to know that we are going to be serving right now before noon time on Sunday.
So would we have to bring the applicants back to finalize that?
They would have to come in before you'd ask permission to be open at 10.
Which we,
That's the sensitivity of the board, if it's one of those things that we shouldn't ask for, because we may not use it, then maybe we would just ask for it, and then have flexibility whether we open
No, our
early or
rules
not.
are you have to tell us the hours you're going to be serving alcohol. So once you make, and we're not trying to rush you, I mean.
No.
we'd come back,
Right.
Commissioner,
All
and
right.
say, we now think there's a
Right.
need for the brunch, we'd
Right.
like to ask that.
Right.
Okay, all right.
So what hours now are you asking for the alcohol service? Is it 11:30 to 1?
Well, I think we would probably,
7 days?
wouldn't we ask for the typical earlier, and then probably not open lunch until 11:30, or is that not
You have to
very
indicate
specific?
the times you're going to
No
serve
problem.
alcohol.
We should probably say 11
different,
then.
yeah.
We should probably say 11.
If you say 11, then you have to do 11.
Yeah. And
Well,
we don't-
what time will, okay, fine.
just be open.
He can decide, he knows when he's gonna open.
I mean, you can apply for certain hours
This is
now.
different, this is
Yeah.
different for us, because
Yeah.
usually typically it's just 8 a.m. till.
Yeah. You can apply for the hours you anticipate now and then come back and modify them.
Okay.
So,
I would say,
11.
yeah, we should
Say 11,
Yeah.
we should be there. If you're gonna do a brunch on a Saturday,
Right.
and then if we want to do the Sunday brunch, we'll request that you come back to the commission.
So you're saying 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to 1 a.m.
Yes.
Yes.
for the alcohol? And the CV hours are 7 a.m. to 1 a.m.?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Then you've also applied for an entertainment license. Could you describe the entertainment?
Acoustic, small, I think we did describe there what we would like for the entirety in case that is what we're going to be using, but we see it as a small use, possibly Wednesday, Thursday night, possibly Friday, Saturday, we're not sure at this point. But we would like to be able to have the ability to be able to offer music when it business deems that it is feasible to do so. So we don't expect bands, we don't expect amplification, we do expect that it would be more acoustic, more intimate than fully encompassing the space. One of when we started to talk about this, Bill Kane reminded us that one of the companies there has a small little, I think it's Momenta, has a little executive little jazz band that they put together, and it's going to be great if they can play there. And so we talked about it a little bit more. I said that should be something that we would offer. So we would like to be able to offer that a few months a week.
members of the public here to speak on this? None?
You mentioned the various businesses you've opened in, I think you said the Lennox Hotel and the Westin over by the convention center. The council, you had mentioned some operations like in Alston, I think, right? So what are the other establishments? I know you don't have one in Cambridge currently, but...
So we have the Greenbrier in Brighton, that was opened in 1989. And then 1993 we opened up the Harp across the street from Boston Garden. And then we opened up MG O'Connor's at the Park Plaza. We have the Lennox, Ned Devine's at Faneuil Hall, Anthem. We have District Hall and Gather. And then we have the Westin, which is MG O'Connor's and City Garden, the Westin as well.
I'm in back with my card there.
Oh,
And I think you mentioned your general manager is here.
Yes.
Um,
Todd? Well,
I would just ask him about his,
sure.
I'd like to ask you about your experience.
May I-
Sit.
Good, how are you? Could you, what's your last name?
Bennett, B-E-N-N-E-T-T.
Could you talk about your restaurant or
I've
alcohol
been in the
experience?
restaurant industry for roughly 25 years. I worked for the Sheraton Hotel for about 7 or 9 years, on and off. And I ran their banquet department as well as 3 different restaurants within. I ran Tia's for a couple of years, and then I joined the Briar Group 13 and a half years ago. I've opened this last 5 restaurants.
But of all of our general managers, of which we have 9, Todd's one of the newer ones. We tend to keep our managers for quite a long time. They're very well trained, very experienced at business.
Any other questions?
I have none.
Motion?
Make a motion to approve the application as submitted with the changes that were discussed to the hours. 11 a.m. to 1 a.m.
The alcohol.
for the alcohol and 7 a.m. to 1 a.m. for the victual license. And the entertainment license is applied for.
All in favor?
Aye.
So you're aware you need to go through 21 proof training? 21 proof training, it's a Cambridge space training, so you can do that as well. And I'll be including the material that gets sent out to you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck.
Thank you.